What's the deal? I'm DJ Hazmat.
Yeah, and I'm Matty Wills.
And welcome back. It's the Matt and Matt Sports Postgame edition. Cleveland Browns win 31-21 over the Houston Texans. I never doubted it.
I doubted it for a minute because Tyrod Taylor was out there looking like the second coming for a while before he got hurt. He was carving up our defense, which is slightly concerning for me. But at halftime, just after halftime, we were texting. And once I noticed that Taylor was done for the day, you asked if I was still nervous, and I said no, because that other dude didn't have nothing for him. He wasn't ready. Let's just say that. He wasn't ready.
Matt, you're not getting off the hook like that, bro. Don't even try it, man. Because I already know that our producers have been cooking up something to debunk what you're trying to say right now. Because, according to you, Matty Wills, we need OBJ to win games. You know what I'm saying? You said that before at halftime. We need OBJ. As soon as
not to rehash this argument, but that's not the point that I was making.
As soon as DPJ got a ball knocked out of his hands, you like, we need OBJ.
How many more targets did he see?
Huh? What?
Listen, how many more targets did he see?
We don't need the thing is.
What's up, Mr. T? Drop them comments. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Mr. T. I wish we saw a picture. I wonder how many gold chains he has on right now. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is the Browns win. Go ahead. Let's just get into the particulars first before we get into the.
I can run you some stats real quick. Baker ended up with a good game, 19 of 21. Did have the bad interception that wasn't his fault. Rookie wide receivers. Did throw one touchdown, ran for another touchdown. Nick Chubb was the difference down the stretch, 95 yards on 11 carries, which equates for 8.6 yards per carry. I know you've been watching football for a long time. 8.6 yards per carry is pretty damn good. Kareem Hunt did what he did. I mean, listen, let's just say what people are going to be saying throughout this week. The defense doesn't look as good as it should now. It doesn't. And, I don't know how much people are going to be talking about it. We listen to the local sports broadcasters. We listen to the national ones. I don't know how much they're going to be talking about it, but I don't believe the best recipe for sustained success, especially when it comes down to playing in the playoffs, is going to be, I don't think that not having an adequate wide receiver duo out there is going to be sufficient. And you saw just how sketchy that can be for you as soon as Landry went down. Now, I don't know if you saw the update. I think I saw maybe an MCL strain. Is that what we got on Jarvis right now? I don't know if there's anything official. MRI, I'm sure, will be today or tomorrow, but we'll be awaiting word for how much time he may potentially miss. But yeah, I mean, we could beat the Texans by just running the football. Sure. Good win, 10-point win. What, man? What do you want from me? What do you want from me? You want me to praise them on every little thing, even when I don't think they deserve to be praised for every little thing?
I'm not talking about praising at all. What I'm saying is I had no doubt that we'd win this game.
I know.
In fact, a lot of people, no, I didn't say that. How can we go 17-0 when we lost game one?
I'm just joking. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, just panicking is for no reason is just and going to the well of OBJ early on in the game. I mean, we're talking about a quarterback here who only missed 2 passes in the entire game. One was an interception, one was an incompletion, a ball that
wasn't his fault. Honestly.
Maybe some miscommunication. The receiver went the wrong way, or whatever happened on that play.
Or he gave up on the play, which is what the commenters.
No, that was the interception.
Oh, my bad.
I'm talking about the one incompletion he had outside of the interception was a maybe miscommunication, not thinking the receiver was going to go.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This way and the other way. So 19 of 21. Let's talk about that, man.
Efficient.
213 yards. 1 TD pass to Felton. I like this young rookie Felton, by the way. Boy, this guy,
he's a player.
If he's in the open field, you're gonna have a problem with him.
Yeah.
So he had 2 receptions for 51 yards and a TD. Baker ran for a touchdown.
Yeah,
which is something that you didn't mention there when you're worrying about who's not in the game. We have so much firepower on this team that even though we didn't have OBJ, or Jarvis Landry, who you would consider to be our two top options. No, at receiver.
Yeah. I don't consider them to be. Those are the two top options. It's not what I'm
At receiver.
considering. It's what it is.
And we still come out with a 10-point victory, which is pretty significant in the NFL when you win by 10 points against any NFL team. Houston never really had a chance in this game unless we shot ourselves in the foot. Every time it was because we turned the ball over, we gave them an opportunity,
which is a problem.
The Houston Texans are a bad team, Jamal. They committed penalties in critical parts of the game. They're just not good, okay? And the Browns had self-inflicted wounds. It wasn't Houston out here just shutting the Cleveland Browns down. It was the Browns shutting the Browns down. And when the Browns stop shutting the Browns down, then we'll roll on teams. Now, if anybody bet with Vegas, they didn't win. If you bet with the point spread, which I would not have, that was a pretty significant point spread to give to any NFL team. To say that any NFL team is going to win by 13 or 14 points, that's saying a lot. We won by 10 and we scored 31. There's nothing for us to be shamed about and nothing for us to be worried about. Oh, who cares when we have so much firepower on this offense that it's going to be difficult for any team to shut us down. When we decide to turn our running game on, nobody's stopping it. Do you understand? We have the number 1 ranked offensive line in the league. You said yourself the yards per carry, ridiculous. You don't even have to run. You know, I was talking to somebody last week. A friend of mine. I shout out Calvin Little, the Browns fan. He thought last week we should have run the ball more. We were running the ball. There's no more running you need to do when you're averaging 6 yards a carry. You don't have to have 40 carries in a game if you're averaging 6 to 8 to 9 yards a carry. There's no need for that many carries because you're killing them.
And every when time your quarterback is being super efficient too. I mean, there was no problem with the Browns' offensive attack in this game. None.
Let's talk about Baker Mayfield going in and getting that little shot in the shoulder. Because he had the dead left arm. My wife was worried. I said, it's not his throwing arm. It's not his throwing arm.
Yeah.
And so Baker went in. He got the little juice because, you know, Case Keenum was out there like, what's up? Y'all need me? No, we don't. Because Baker is an elite franchise quarterback who came out after an injury and only didn't miss no more passes, man. Come on, man. Like, listen, man. Y'all got to give Baker Mayfield his respect, man. You know what I'm saying? Give it to him. And stop trying to act like Baker Mayfield ain't a baller, man. Because most quarterbacks probably wouldn't even came back in the game. The arm was dead. The left arm was hanging like this. We didn't know what was wrong. I'm thinking separated shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking some significant type of shoulder injury that's going to keep him out of the game. I thought Case Keenum was going to play. Baker went to the locker room and said, hold up. Y'all don't know who I am, yo.
I wonder if he was concerned about the long-term effects of getting that shot at halftime. Anyway, nobody's mad.
Who's concerned about long-term effects of shots these days?
I'm just joking. Exactly. I'm not mad at the Browns' offensive approach in that game. And I don't want anybody to get confused with the fact that, because I always bring up Odell, that I'm, mad at the other players on the team or anything like that. I just don't want this thing to get lost that he's a playmaker and he'll make any offense in the NFL better, not just the Cleveland Browns. So that's my only point about that. But
I know you love Odell Beckham Jr. We get it.
I do. But
my wife has on an Odell Beckham Jr. jersey. I wish she was here. I was like,
mine is hanging up in the closet.
Odell Beckham Jr. I got an Odell Beckham Jr. jersey.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Why are the Odell Beckham Jr. jerseys on clearance?
Bro,
We'll talk about that another time. Sure. We ain't even got time to discuss that. Why you can get an Odell Beckham official, authentic, stitched jersey for $20. We ain't gonna talk about that right now.
All right.
I don't know what that means. Who got an inside scoop on why the jerseys? Because I remember when when Jabril Peppers jerseys went on sale. Next thing you know, he was a New York Giant. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, if you think that they're about to trade Odell after this game, then you're absolutely insane. And if anybody in the Browns locker room right now thinks that it'd be a good idea to trade him right now, first of all, you're not even going to get top return on him because the team doesn't even know.
Since we're on the topic of Odell,
yeah, you dragged us to the topic. I'm trying to talk about the damn schedule.
I just want to remind people of what was said at halftime. Jamal, if you please, if you have that video and we're ready to roll it, let's just get into this whole Odell thing so we can know clearly what we're talking about here.
I don't know if that's loaded. So while he's loading that up, man, to not harp on the Odell thing. Once that's ready, we'll get it rolling. I'm gonna say this.
Are we even playing that? Let's go to the private chat. I don't know. We might not be playing it.
It's not. It's just not loaded. Proof. Is what I'm saying.
It's just proof that we don't have to have Odell. He's the icing on the cake. I agree with you. He's an awesome talent to have in your arsenal. And if you can win games without having to pull out your full arsenal, that's just a benefit. That's a testament to the type of team you are. And when you do, and think about it, if Odell's able to rest until his ACL injury is completely healed, because who comes back from a torn ACL less than a year? You understand what I'm saying? And I don't want to hear about quarterbacks that don't. No, I'm not saying critique. Because your critique can't come out of being scared. Your critique comes out of you said it yourself. I'm nervous. I think we should have been. And you go to you always go to the hypotheticals. If Odell did they not say Odell was not playing today?
Yes, he's not playing.
So therefore, subtract him from your brain.
Okay, and then I'm not addressing the coach's decision. I'm addressing the Cleveland Browns fans like you who say that we don't need Odell. That's cap. As the
we don't need Odell to win. We don't.
To win against who?
Anybody.
Okay, we didn't. That wasn't proven last week, and it wasn't proven in the last time.
Odell Beckham Jr. fumbled the ball last week. Odell Beckham Jr. bobbled a snap last week.
No,
Odell Beckham Jr. You're saying that Odell Beckham Jr. would have.
This is you twisting my words.
They would have prevented Nick Chubb from bobbling.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Odell Beckham Jr. was playing, would have prevented.
That's not what I'm saying.
Punter from bobbling the snap.
No.
Odell Beckham Jr. would have prevented Baker from throwing an interception.
No. Do you want to hear what I'm saying?
What play in last week's game that Odell Beckham?
It's not about what play. What it's about is your team is better off with a certain player on the field because you have more options. You have a veteran. First of all, he's a veteran, so he's not going to make amateur and rookie mistakes like not even competing to catch a football. I'm talking about today's game, which led to an interception, which led to Schwartz non-attempt to catch the football, which almost led to your quarterback being decapitated.
But you know what? Last week, Schwartz had a great game, except for one pass.
No, he didn't. He had a great game. Listen, it wasn't properly set up that bit, first of all.
Yeah, it wasn't.
This is what happened, okay? During halftime of today's game, I was trying to exclaim to Odell Beckham haters in Northeast Ohio that your football team is better off with him on the field. Thus, I don't believe trading him before he can even come back from his injury is a good idea, which was my only point. Somehow, the hazardous one twisted my words around and made it, he said all of these things that I didn't say, but basically alluding to the fact that I was saying that we need Odell to win games. When we play the Houston Texans, sorry, Jamal, when we play the Houston Texans, no, we don't need Odell, and we don't need Jarvis Landry for that matter, because we're playing the Houston Texans. When it gets to the end of the season and you're playing playoff games against teams that can score and against teams that can neutralize somewhat your rushing attack, you need to be a little bit more balanced, and you can't just be throwing the ball to tight ends and running backs all game. That's not going to win you the game. You need playmakers on the outside was my only point to win big in this league. To beat the Texans, don't need your top two wide receivers. To beat the Chiefs, you better have them on the field. That's all I was saying. That's all. That was my only point. Now, with all that said, but Matt, I am happy we won today, by the way.
Maddie, your tone at halftime.
I'm just saying. You didn't let me finish my thought. Your
thoughts take too long. Your thoughts take too long.
Maybe. I've heard that multiple times throughout my life.
Okay, so what I'm saying is you texted me at halftime saying you think we don't need Odell now. You texted me for this game.
Yes.
This game. You thought that Odell mattered in this game.
It was 14-4. Actually,
So
it was 14-7 going into halftime.
But I wasn't worried. We ain't worried about nothing.
Well, I was.
Cleveland ain't worried about nothing. Cleveland ain't worried about nothing. Hey, listen, man. I'm just saying, you panicked. You hit the panic button at halftime.
You know me. I've been doing this show for years.
Shout out to Corey. Shout out to Kiki. Wasso.
Absolutely.
Is that how you say your last name? Wasso?
Absolutely. And Corey, I understand that that's halftime score was 14,
the Raiders. She had to remind us
but that took a Baker Mayfield drive where the coaching staff finally commit to running the damn football for us to score that 7 going into halftime. Before that is when I text Haz when we were down 14-7 and I watched Peoples-Jones fumble away an opportunity, and I watched Anthony Schwartz not even try to catch a ball. His position is wide receiver,
but I didn't lose confidence.
Attempt to receive
you
the
lost
football,
confidence,
which is what was crazy to me.
You lost confidence.
I'm a panicker. It is what it is. And hey, the Browns are 1-1.
Jamal, we got to develop
today.
Since you had a mad, since y'all had a mad-o-meter on me, can we get a panic meter for him? Since you want to have a mad-o-meter on me, put a panic meter for this guy.
Yeah,
the scared Browns fan over here.
Hey,
who's scared to believe.
I ain't seen success in my lifetime with this team. So when we start getting hyped on a little bit too much and we're going against the team,
ain't nobody getting hyped
with somebody else out last week,
I'm
gonna be a little nervous.
It's not about hype,
man. Nervous.
It's not about hype. It's not about hype, man. We have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt.
Hey, let's talk about the game today a little bit.
You know who was out there? #1 rated offensive line.
You know who was out there?
Myles Garrett, Clowney. This is just believing in what it is.
Okay. Do you know who was out there that I was
Coach
happy to see?
Coach of the year.
Yeah. Do you know who I was? Do you know who was out there that I was extremely happy to see out there making plays?
Jedrick Wills.
I'm talking about Delpit. Delpit was in that backfield. And, you know, for all the hype that we've heard about him not practicing, not playing preseason and coming off injury, this is a testament to the fact that sometimes let people come back from their injuries. I'm not alluding to anything. I'm just saying let people come back from their injuries and see if they can make a play. Matt Delpit helped us out on defense this game. And let's talk about Joe Woods for a second.
Listen,
now, the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Before you move on.
Okay.
On that point of letting people come back from the injuries, there was an old commercial that might be older than you might not remember this, as I'm a little older than you. And Orson Welles used to have a famous line: "We will sell no wine before it's time." We will sell no wine before it's time.
I like that.
You wasn't going to bring Delpit back before he was fully ready, cleared, and able to play
absolutely
up to his full potential. Baker Mayfield, not Baker, Odell Beckham Jr. told the coach himself that he wasn't going to be 100%. He said that.
I'm not mad that Odell got held out. I don't want you to confuse that.
If he's not going to be 100%,
yeah,
and we can win anyway.
Exactly, because you're playing the
Texans. Next week we got the Chicago Bears. Do we need Odell?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of the Bears. You know, Andy Dalton went down today, so they could be starting their rookie quarterback next week. And I don't know if, rookie quarterbacks, regardless of what people think, they don't really win a lot of games in the NFL. They really don't. I mean, I know he's definitely a better athlete than Andy Dalton. Whether or not he's a better NFL quarterback remains to be seen, though they did beat the Bengals today, who had a surprising victory week 1 against Minnesota. So I don't know that I wouldn't bring Odell back until he's 100%, because the Browns have aspirations of making a lengthy playoff run. So we need people as close to 100% around that time than any other time. But when you're going to play a team that's probably going to finish around 500, you probably don't need Odell for next week. But I'm not saying that we should be looking past Chicago. I don't think that we should be doing that.
No, we definitely shouldn't. I mean, this is a blessing in disguise for the Chicago Bears, who have had this
maybe.
The fans screaming for Justin Fields to play. They say we're going to run with Andy Dalton. This is similar to probably maybe I could compare it to Cleveland when it was Josh McCown versus Johnny Manziel. No, or was it
or
Brian
even Tyrod
Hoyer?
Taylor,
Brian Hoyer.
to Baker.
Brian Hoyer versus Johnny Manziel. But Andy Dalton had to prove that he can go out there and win games, which Brian Hoyer was doing. Whether you felt Brian Hoyer was the sexy option, as long as he was winning the games, that's what mattered. And it gave the rookie a chance to grow and develop and watch and learn. People get so anxious for that guy to come out there on the field when you haven't had good quarterback play, because I can't remember the last time the Chicago Bears had an elite quarterback. I don't think they've ever,
not
in the history of their existence,
Rex Grossman was their playoff quarterback. The last time they went to the playoff. Or no, did they go recently with Mitchell?
Rex Grossman made it to the Super Bowl.
To the Super Bowl, yeah.
To the Super Bowl. But nobody will sit up here and say that Rex Grossman is an elite Hall of Fame quarterback.
Absolutely not.
So Jim McMahon, before that, is the most recognizable quarterback that has come through Chicago. So here we go with the Justin Fields playing definitely next week, which will make yesterday's price is not today's price on the tickets for the Browns game. If you want to go see Justin
has to be on that internet. I see you, man. I see you.
Justin Fields just made the price go up just because of the potential of what he could do. I think he could go out there and win some games.
Yeah,
because he brings an extra element to.
Mr. T is already calling for a Browns victory next week. You won't get any argument from me. That's a
not
game
against
that the
us.
Browns should win.
Period.
Point blank. Just real quick before I forget about our dude Grant Delpit, man. Like I said, we've been waiting for him, or we've been saying we've been waiting for him. He had a sack, a tackle for a loss, and a QB hit. That means he was living in the backfield. He's a safety. So what he will afford this defense, if he can just stay on the field and get some more experience, that's going to be dope, especially as the season continues to progress, man. So that was definitely a good sign. And the other safety, Harrison, who got booted last week and fined a couple days before this game, got a big play, had a big play at the end of the game as well.
Can we talk about our predictions from last week? Because I think I outdid you in the predictions for last week.
Is that a fact?
It is a fact.
Go ahead.
It is a fact. Actually, you picked Kansas City. I picked the Browns. You got that. The Thursday night game, we both was a push. We both picked the Bucks. The Sunday night game was
this is that. Are you talking about last week?
Right.
Talking about week one.
We didn't get to talk about how our picks made out.
Week one.
But I do know that I won the Monday. What was the Monday night matchup? You picked the Ravens and I picked the Raiders to win. And the Raiders are now 2-0.
So it sounds like we tied, actually, because you picked the Browns. You picked the Browns.
Well, what about the Sunday night game? Then we picked differently on two different games. So
the Browns and the Ravens.
Okay.
You won one and I won one.
Okay, so we're tied.
Yeah, we got to get this. We'll have this tabulated for next week.
Let's talk about what this means for our division. So you had the Raiders defeat the Ravens, and the Raiders defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, eventually this year, we will play the Raiders. And it will be a home game for us. So when these conference games happen, when you're in the same division, you got to think about this long term. If it ends up, if our records are anywhere near close to each other towards the end of the season, which I don't think they will, because Pittsburgh and the Ravens suck, basically. Anyway, it's definitely Pittsburgh is not going to win a lot of games this year. But if it came down to it, you always go to division record first. Then you go to conference record second. So when you lose games within your conference, that hurts your ability to get to the playoffs more so than if you were to lose to Green Bay or Chicago or Minnesota or these other NFC teams that we will play this year, Arizona Cardinals and the guys like that. So the Raiders are 2-0 though. So what do we think about the Raiders and how things are shaping out? And we got the Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-1, and the Baltimore Ravens.
The division, in all likelihood, will be 1-1 after the Monday or the Raiders. I mean, not the Raiders. The Ravens and Chiefs. They play Sunday night or Monday night. They play Sunday night.
That game is tonight.
So in all likelihood, we'll all be 1-. No. damn, if the Ravens lose that game, they'll be 0-2. I'm sorry. So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, to your point, conference games, obviously division games are weighted, especially when it comes down to the end of the season when you're talking about tiebreakers and things of that nature. So all of those games are super important. But I just think that after these first 2 weeks, can't really have gone much better than the Browns. I mean, I know you didn't write that Chiefs game as a loss, but I and excuse me, and a lot of people did. So when we were picking games for the Browns a couple of shows ago, we both had them going on a huge run after week 1. So we'll see what happens, man. I think the Browns have a good chance, especially with the injuries in Baltimore and with the continued deterioration of Ben Roethlisberger. They have a good chance of going on a nice run and really winning this division by a couple of games.
Listen,
we'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
We're the cream of the crop when it comes to the AFC North. And though these Baltimore Ravens fans don't want to admit it, and neither do the Pittsburgh Steelers, we are the cream of the crop. Though the season hasn't played out yet, we that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as we the North, you know what I mean? Because the Baltimore Ravens are injury riddled. It's gonna be it's Lamar bust, and that's not gonna work all season. Trust me, it's not gonna work all season.
It's not.
And they're not. It's not going to work against the Kansas City Chiefs. It hasn't worked against the Kansas City Chiefs. They've had plenty of chances for that to try and work against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it has not worked against the Kansas City Chiefs. And now you're coming in with less firepower. No. So I expect the Baltimore Ravens to be 0-2, and they'll be 0-2 in the AFC. And it's going to be a struggle for them this year. And though a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans didn't want to accept that or admit that, that's what it's going to be. We are fully healthy for the most part. We did lose Jarvis, but for the most part, even we so deep that it is what it is, man. So our next game against the Chicago Bears, our schedule is, I'm just looking at our schedule down the line. So next week we got Chicago, right? Why is
we got Chicago, we got Minnesota.
We got Chicago, then Minnesota,
then the Chargers.
I mean, Minnesota, I think they could be a challenge because of what Tyrod Taylor was able to do early before he went out of the game. I'm glad Tyrod went out because he was doing his thing today. So our secondary is still going to have to figure out some things. Joe Woods, I need you to get this defense together because Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, those boys can ball, and they're going to attack us through the air. And Dalvin Cook ain't no slouch either. Now I feel like we're better against the run this year because of Jadeveon Clowney. One thing about Jadeveon Clowney, he's great against the run, and that improves our defense against the run. But it's going to be a challenge when we get to Minnesota. So I'm not going to just say we're going to walk on them. And the San Diego, they're a high-powered offense. They're playing right now against the Dallas Cowboys. We got Arizona coming in here. You know what I mean? So let's not act like it's a cakewalk. You know, when you talk about D-Hop and shoot,
they had a very impressive
Chandler
week
Jones on their defense had 5 sacks in the first game alone.
He won't do that against Baker, but yeah,
so
he did.
Can we get to a GTFOH before we? Do you have one?
Yes, I will have one as soon as you get done with yours.
Okay, well, let's get it in then. It's time. You know what I'm saying?
Get the f*** out of here. 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 Get the f*** Get the f*** out of here.
Yes. And right now, I'm talking to you, Myles Garrett.
Wow. All this praise for everything Browns Nation. Now you're calling out your boy.
Number 95. Myles Garrett. Saw you mic'd up, man. You know what I mean? Did you watch the Myles Garrett mic'd up from last week?
No.
You should watch it. It was very boring.
I want to watch that too.
I didn't hear Myles Garrett making a whole lot of noise at all. He said some old philosophical stuff on the sideline. In order to defeat fear, you must become fear. Myles Garrett. Get the freak out of here with that. What I need to do is see it on the field. I need to see it on the field, Myles Garrett. Hold on, let me stop the music for a second. DJ D-Rec, cut the beat. You know what I'm saying? Myles Garrett. I'm going to need you to show up and be menacing and cause havoc. When a quarterback like Davis Mills comes into the game and you don't get your hands on him the whole game, Myles Garrett never touched Davis Mills in this whole game. What? We got Chandler Jones out here in Arizona, 5 sacks in one game, sir. 5 of them. You had to share a sack last week. You barely got to the thing. You know what I heard on the mic'd up? I heard Myles Garrett say, man, I've been chasing this man all game. I've been chasing this man. I heard Patrick Mahomes say, hey, good rush. Even though he had got the pass off, he gonna get up and like, good rush. Where's the sacks? Myles Garrett, you supposed to be the number one. You supposed to be the guy that's out here wreaking havoc.
Get the out of here.
With that crap of a performance. Now, I know that Myles Garrett gets double teamed and all of that. But when you add Jadeveon Clowney and all of this, what's going on, we would think that our sack total would go up. Why isn't Myles Garrett have at least 2 sacks in one game? A guy can get 5 sacks in one game, and you can barely get one, and you have to share it with somebody else. And when I saw the mic'd up, I'm like, this guy is a little too mild-mannered for me. I'm going to need you to get a little bit mad, but not mad enough to get us a penalty. Because early in the game, you tussling after the whistle, putting your hand on people's face mask. It's like you're about to give them 15 yards. Myles Garrett.
Get the out of here.
With that play. That is my dissertation today. Sorry. And I love you, Myles. But come on, man.
So I don't have all the stats in front of me, and I love them to death, but I think that he might be a little bit overhyped at this point. And we actually interviewed this dude before. I'm talking about Denzel Ward. Okay, when you talk about shutdown, lockdown cornerbacks in the NFL, when you talk about Revis Island, when you talk about Jalen Ramsey over in LA right now, these are guys who never get thrown at 5 times in a row, ever. But today, I heard the announcer say in the first half, before Tyrod Taylor was injured and had to, retire for the rest of the game, that the Browns threw at Denzel Ward. The Texans threw at Denzel Ward 5 straight times to multiple receivers. Okay. Now, if this guy is supposed to be a shutdown corner, I know he's waiting on his big contract, him and Baker Mayfield from that draft class, waiting on their next deal. But if he's going to be a shutdown corner, I'm going to need him to make it impossible for any quarterback in the NFL, least of all Tyrod Taylor, to go at him 5 straight times. So I'm a little bit worried about this defense at the moment. Joe Woods, we've already been kind of talking about him last week. Okay, you get a mulligan, it's the Chiefs. It is what it is. This week, they scored 21 points. It's not a horrible amount of points to give up, but the way that they put together those touchdown drives makes me just a little bit worried. And especially, I feel like it starts in the secondary with Denzel Ward. Everything is predicated around him really being a shutdown corner, if that's what he's going to be. So I need him to step it up as of right now. Thanks for the interview a couple years ago, but GTFOH.
Get the out of here.
Okay.
That's who I got.
You want to tell Denzel Ward? Okay. I mean,
I'm just saying.
I don't necessarily
is it coincidence that we both picked a defensive player today? I mean, is that a coincidence? I think there's a little bit of suspicion in that on that side of the football right now. Your offense is scoring 30 a game, but your defense listen, they've got a lot of hype. Let's just see them live up to some of that. So we'll see how it goes.
They do. But we got the win. And so the Browns are 1-1, and the Bears are next week. So we'll see what happens.
Justin Fields.
It's time for me to get in the lab and figure this out musically. You know what I'm saying? I gotta come with a recap. So be on the lookout for the recaps. I try to drop them by Tuesday every week because, it is me writing, recording, producing, engineering a song, and then shooting a music video and video, editing, all of that. So give me till Tuesday, people. Like last week, it was like early Monday morning. Somebody was like, "Where the song at?" I'm like, "Damn, it was a late game too." It was like, "Sheesh, y'all expected a little too much out of the kid." I mean, I know how it turns it around, but expect them by Tuesday, and we will be premiering them on 93.1 WZAK and Z1079. So be on the lookout. Of course, the recaps will be coming. Jamal, how'd you like that game? I just wanted to throw something at. This is Jamal. Hey, Jamal, I want to give a thing to Jamal too.
Get the out of here.
With that
No.
Houston stuff,
Jesus Christ.
that Houston crap, man.
Hey, they did load the our predictions for this week. We picked the exact same games, both of us. So I mean, regardless of how everything pans out, we will be completely tied. I think that I got one up on you last week. You got one up on me. So that was a push this week.
Yeah.
We both correctly picked the Thursday night game. The Chiefs over Ravens happens tonight. The Packers and
So
Lions
we're both
play
3-1.
tomorrow. Yeah, and then of course the Browns just took care of the Texans. So hopefully next week, and I don't know if you noticed, but when Jamal asked for our predictions, I replied only to him. I'm not putting you on that email no more. I don't want you stealing my picks.
I
So
don't
just want you
steal
to know
picks.
I just want you to
who I
know
wanted
that.
to pick. I didn't even know who you picked.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't see your picks. I just
Yeah, I
picked
know.
my picks. And then when he posted it, I was like, "Oh, we picked the same thing. We picked the exact." So it's
Yeah,
it's gonna be a push this week.
Yeah, we might have to add another couple games in there to get some variety.
It's gonna be a push this week because we picked the exact same teams. And so right now, I guess it'll stay tied if it stays as it is.
I got an idea.
Tracy.
I got an idea what we could do. So we can
Tracy want me to put her in the song.
There you go, man.
Tracy, go to a game and streak on the field. And then
don't do that. Tracy, do not do that because you'll go to jail. All right, I think that's enough for
that's
today.
The only way I can put you in the song. You got to be in the game. You got to have affected the game in some way. And the only way a fan ever affects the game is if they streak across the field. That's the only way.
Just remember that I recommended that's not a good idea. I think that's enough for this week,
dog. Idea for nobody.
No.
Yeah,
no,
you're gonna be tackled, battered, bruised, and in the jail cell that's in the stadium. But if you want to be in the song, if it's worth it for you to be in the song, this ain't got to do with man or woman. The only way you can get in this song is if you're involved in the game. Streak. That's the only way fans get in, right? Unless, I tell you what, if a ball is coming and is about to land in the middle of the thing and you dive over to catch that thing,
that's a lot.
Tracy,
that's a lot.
Go to the game next week and do something crazy in there, and I'm gonna put you in the song.
Again, Tracy, I'm gonna recommend that you don't do that, but we'll definitely be back next week. Halftime. Is there another 1:00 game?
No, Tracy, we love you. Don't do it. We don't want you to go to jail. I went to jail at that game. We don't do that no more.
Another 1:00 game next Sunday against the Chicago Bears. So same time, halftime, post game. We'll be back. We'll recap our weekly picks, and of course, we'll have another GTFOH for everybody to share with, and hopefully, it's not Tracy as the GTFOH following has his advice.
No,
because that wouldn't be a good idea. But that's all I got, dog. You want to hear something funny? It's 5 o'clock almost, and I'm in 2 football fantasy leagues. One fantasy league, I have 15 points right now. Right now, I have 15 points.
Yeah,
so
they're gonna lose.
I'll be 0-2 in that league. But my other league, I should win and fight to 1-1. But
I'm against my wife in one of these fantasy leagues, and she's winning. But the majority of my team are playing now. They didn't play and I have a quarterback going tomorrow. His name is Aaron Rodgers, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers is about to snap on y'all for trying to think he's sorry after an MVP season. But anyway, so and then my other 2 squads, I'm winning. I'm projected. One of them I slipped because I had Jarvis Landry and he went out, so that kind of hurt me. I'm still projected to kind of be real close. I was projected to win, but that took me down a little bit. So it's close. I'm gonna have to check and see, but I'm still beasting out here, man.
That's
what it is.
It's early. Dak just threw an interception. We'll be
He said
back
Big
next week. Huh?
I was just doing shit. Tracy said Big Chuck and Little John laughing.
Learn something new every week.
That was the whole laugh. We should get that sound effect next time. There you go. Tracy, goodbye. Corey, thank you. For Matt and Matt Sports, I'm DJ Hazmat.
I'm Maddie Wills. We'll see y'all
We
next weekend.
out.